Crawford. Crawford opens out of that.
Crawford is a 17-year pro, 41 fights, but he's still going to have to adjust to this atmosphere, to this moment, and the reality that he's facing Canelo Alvarez in every time.
And the force of the punches, that's what I'm looking for early. How does Crawford react to the force of Canelo Alvarez's punches, especially to the body?
Canelo looks slightly bigger than Terrence, but that's not the tell-all. The tell-all is when they clinch. The tell-all is when those punches get thrown. And to your point, when they start to win.
Crawford had knocked out 11 straight throws before going the distance with the Tremont back in August of 2024.
Tremont is the biggest opponent he's faced as a pro, and it seemed largely because of the size his most difficult. And that was 2 divisions south of here.
Boxing experts felt as though Alvarez needed to be on the pressure more than Crawford at times as when he slow started. Sometimes by design.
Alvarez is a master at his body position and taking ground and making the ring smaller. Subtly and quickly in fights in that first round. You see him doing that right here. He's just slowly taking ground and he's forcing Crawford to get up. That can unnerve an opponent over time. That can drain an opponent. I want to see how Crawford answers that tonight.
And it's often the case on this level. You're dealing with 2 of the highest boxing IQs in the game, very fast processors, and they're studying each other right now. Big right hand from Canelo blocks.
Body shot got through for Alvarez.
2 good shots for Alvarez.
First 2 real punches of the fight.
That angle for me, that right there.
By the way, the 2 first clean punches of the fight for Crawford.
Crawford shakes off that right hand up front of Alvarez, and that changes his level. Under a minute to go here, round 1.
Everything Canelo's thrown so far, it's been with force, but it's been blocked.
That attempt also blocked by Crawford.
The way Canelo throws, you better block those. That one landed, left hook to the bottom.
Good shot from Canelo. Crawford can't give up too many of those.
That's where you find out, is Crawford big enough? Can he take those kind of shots?
Over time.
Hey. Give me that little more. So one, everyone can know a little more. That's what we can do. Hey, you just let me find some more things when you're trying to get comfortable. Get jab. I can't see it through your body. Alright? So make sure when you throw your jab, throw it to the hand. Throw it to his hand. And see if you're close enough to throw the double jab. Alright? You get him on that angle?
Crawford's coming behind the triple jab, landed a nice clean shot on the ear and the side of the chin on Canelo. One single shot from Crawford. Didn't hurt Canelo, but Crawford needs to land those kind of shots to get in a ladder and get in a rhythm.
And the other punch did not land, but it forced Canelo's glove into his head, which made it look like it landed. The right hand. Did you like that clean left from Crawford? Did you like the left hook to the body and the greater activity from Canelo?
You might have heard Womack Ryan McIntyre looking for Crawford to employ a few more feints here early round 2.
He needs to not only employ feints, but the jab. Womack asked for the jab, and he has to continue to do that to try to keep Canelo at bay. Though Canelo is a great counterpuncher, but it also helps Crawford get into a rhythm. But that shot right there that Canelo landed, and he's landed it in the first round, is a shot he uses often with southpaws. He doesn't throw the punch where they necessarily are, but where he thinks they're going to be. It may not look hard, but it's a hard shot, and Crawford has to find a way to not give up too many of them.
And Crawford has landed cleanly and threatened Canelo's face this round, but I think more importantly, he has to make Canelo believe that he's fighting a real super middleweight, that he's fighting another guy his size.
Nice slip there by Crawford, getting off the center line.
Canelo is not a jabber. It's not something he does very often. His gift is pressuring with feet and cutting off the ring, like we talked about in the first round, and making that ring seem a lot smaller than it actually is. And you see him doing this right here.
Partial land to the body by Alvarez. Under 2 minutes here, round 2.
Crawford not only has to jab, good exchange from both guys,
Crawford touched Alvarez on the way in.
but he also has to think, and has to look like he's going to do something even when he's not. It keeps the harder puncher off balance, keeps him thinking, and allows Crawford to land shots that may not be knockout shots, but shots that get respect and build points.
Crawford's doing some good work. But now the question is, if and when Canelo lands cleanly upstairs, what happens? That has not happened yet. He is a big, strong super middleweight.
Well, he's a lot different tonight than he did yesterday at the weigh-in.
Rehydrated. There was no dehydration clause, by the way. Canelo can weigh whatever he wants tonight. After making weight yesterday morning.
Crawford seemed not too concerned with any of that noise. As he partially works in the body as Alvarez exits. A little bit more combination from Crawford here in the early going. Under 30 seconds to go, round 2.
Crawford got Canelo back to George. A moment.
Canelo used to be.
Hold on a second. You gotta believe Canelo's looking for a counter, even though his back is against the wall.
Right, Canelo used to be a masterful counterpuncher with his back against the ropes. He liked taking opponents there and countering.
Round 2 looks.
Crawford slowly started landing a few more shots. Canelo landed that left hook, and Crawford answered with a right hook, missed the left hook. But that's what Crawford has to do when Canelo comes forward. He can't be mindless with his defense. He has to be defensively responsible. But he has to start countering Canelo more and more to get that respect.
You saw Crawford land the check hook as Canelo was landing the body shot, which took something off of the body shot.
Sí, cerradito, cerradito, si no te metes con la derecha,
But in lower weight divisions, that check hook may have produced more of an effect.
Pum, tu combinación es abajo, activar leña y coger, chocarlo al cabrón. Ok, pero bien, you know what you're doing. You ready to go?
WWE star power with us tonight. Triple H alongside Stephanie and Shane to have them with us as we're round round 3 of the mega fight. Canelo Alvarez and Brett Crawford.
Well, the fight is still early. But Crawford has had inactivity over the last 2 or 3 years. Good shot right there from Canelo. But the inactivity or the rust has not shown. Looks like Crawford is fresh, and that he might have needed that rest at least at his age. He'll be 38 right after this
He
fight.
doesn't look like a rusty fighter so far.
Yeah, much was made of that angle. Also the angle that Alvarez effect 520 rounds as a pro to 245 for Crawford.
What you do notice, this doesn't look so much smaller than Canelo, really. At least the effect hasn't shown up in the ring. But you do notice, Crawford is doing the better boxing so far. Not by a lot, but by some. But the effect, the punches' effect on Canelo is not like the punches' effect on lighter weight fighters through 2.5 rounds.
In these moments right here, these last 30, 40 seconds, even though Crawford is landing some shots, Canelo's trying to send a message to Crawford with the punches he's throwing and the pressure he's applying. So far, Crawford hasn't gotten one.
The 19th skipper cuts on official scorecard. Gave Crawford rounds 1 and 2.
I can see it. I thought the first could have gone either way. I can see giving the second to Crawford.
Good body shot right there from Canelo. His signature lead left hook to the body.
Yeah, that's a good sign for Canelo Alvarez. Skipper Phelps, talk to us.
Right now, Crawford just doing a better job of managing the distance of the fight. He's where he wants to be right now.
Point.
Crawford got that right hand in the way of that body shot from Alvarez. Both guys landing below 20% here early on.
study Canelo Alvarez, you gotta know that he'll have 3 or 4 times around where he presses. You can sense it, you can see it in his body language, but then he needs to rest. So Crawford is trying to press and stand his ground more, but Canelo wants to rest, which is what you see right now.
Breaks Canelo's forward momentum. Can't get ahead of speed there.
That's the most responsible time to build up points into Crawford when Canelo wants to rest.
Good response by Crawford after Alvarez touched the body.
We know that Crawford is the sharper boxer. What we haven't seen yet is what happens if and when Canelo lands something hard upstairs. Canelo likes to change levels, but so far the hard shots have been all downstairs, but it's not going to be that way all night.
Some useful body work from Canelo Alvarez in round 3.
Beautiful. Hey, first the water lemon, keep touching it, keep touching it. Let's hear it downstairs. What you're doing is you're setting the trap for him because you know he gonna try to come with that wild shit. Alright? Touch. Soon as you look like you're ready to go, maybe get low and then go. Can't see go. You get a first right because you're not getting there.
Cerrado, ya te leyó ese gancho, te agarró a la izquierda. Tranquilito, mueve la cintura y en lo poquito hay que atacar a los hombros, güey. O atacar ese aquí. Pero regresa muy rápido la guardia, güey. Porque él regresa, no está regresando tan rápido como otras veces. Pero regresa pegadito, güey. Y junta de vez en cuando.
Irving Magic Johnson was not from this big front row for Canelo versus Crawford. Here we go, just like that round 4 of a possible 12.
So far, however you have it scored, and I suspect something like 2-1 Crawford, still because they had it 3-0 because he gave the first to Crawford, which Crawford did, but it was the only clean shot of this round. So far, Crawford is fighting his fight, and he has neutralized Canelo's offense.
Those counters are very, very important. You want to get your respect? That's how you do it.
Those are hard shots upstairs that seem to dominate Canelo, and it raged.
Alvarez presses forward, but he got touched on the way out by Crawford.
On the one hand, if you're Crawford good, Canelo lose control. On the other hand, if he turns it into a kind of put you down fight, maybe that makes Canelo more dangerous at the side. That was the first real bad intentions shot that partially had it upstairs.
That was a good shot right there. I'm not on the back from Canelo Alvarez.
He took it down. That's what I've been waiting to see.
Right up the guard now for Crawford. Shortly after Canelo lands his most consequential strike of the fight. Remember right in there?
Well, we got to make that adjustment. Canelo seems to be able to land that right hand, the overhand right, and the straight right as often as he wants to.
Well, I feel like Crawford's catching it mostly with his glove.
But you don't have to land clean to inflict damage.
That's right.
It's not something you want to give a guy like Canelo early in this fight.
And then Canelo just hit him hard in the chest for that round. And that's the first real clean, hard power shot upstairs with that cleanly for Canelo.
Alvarez starting to open up here. 1 minute to go in round 4.
Good moments for Canelo. Upstairs, that's still a good counter, but Canelo's getting a bit of a move right here.
Canelo got his damper up. He's sort of becoming more effective as an aggressive fighter. Can Crawford convince him not to be so aggressive with some counter shots?
That's a significant left hook from Crawford. The Crawford's up with a jab now.
Side to side movement from Crawford, nothing fancy. fundamental boxing is key. Canelo Alvarez just off balance the first round.
Alvarez commits to the right hand of the match.
See the exchange from both fighters, and they'll put that Canelo put landed uppercut on Terrence Crawford and two three-piece on Terrence Crawford. Letting Canelo know you cannot reach for me without me trying to teach you a lesson. That was the best punch of the fight thus far. Crawford took it well, but Canelo started to find a home for the right hand as Terrence Crawford is in the southpaw stance.
Two clean right hands upstairs from Canelo, particularly the first one. Crawford took him well.
WWE superstar Logan Paul. Not necessarily the crowd favorite here, but they will attack from Iron Mike Tyson. Alright, so Crawford's good work largely in round 4 was done early. Canelo's late round 5 has arrived.
The hell of a fight so far, contested at the highest possible level. Not a war, but a high-level chess match where punches are being thrown with bad intentions.
I believe this fight is going to be a lot more violent as it progresses. He's dead in late round.
A lot of pundits were expectant that Crawford would fight predominantly out of the southpaw stance. That's exactly what he is doing.
He seemed to be more comfortable in his biggest moments in that left-handed stance. At least these last 5 or 6 years, you see him predominantly with right hand from Canelo fighting that left-handed stance, almost exclusive.
Canelo doing some very good boxing in this round from the outside.
Again, Canelo doesn't jab, and he's able to still land punches. Imagine if he did come behind the jab. I think he's learned how to not be a jabber, but have right foot position to get the shot that he wants.
And that means, well, there was a jab, but everything comes hard from there.
Both fighters just missed two very dangerous shots.
Crowd trying to get behind the Mexican superstar. You may have seen Skipper Kepa as yet hasn't found a round for Canelo Alvarez through 4.
Might find this one if it keeps up like this. He's keeping Crawford's hands largely at home by staying busy, head and body.
Good counter jab there from Crawford.
Here looks like the break that you talked about, Andre, where Canelo's trying to rest. This seems like Crawford's opportunity to steal some of the momentum in this
Yeah, but I
fight.
think Crawford believes it, that Canelo's baiting him. So he doesn't want to take that chance.
Round 5 historically, for whatever it's worth, has not been kind to Canelo Alvarez. Under a minute to go here in the 5th.
Been a pretty good round 5 tonight.
Tonight it has been. Beautiful body shot by Alvarez. Shot goes through. Headshot was blocked by Crawford.
Crawford on his mic there.
Alvarez stalking. Thomas Taylor hasn't had to break that much tonight.
You knew there had to be at least one of us. Yeah. If I'm the bigger man being in the weight class, I'll pick you up at least one time.
Does Crawford respond in kind?
Todo bien. Hay que le dar round to round, mi joven. Sí. Nomás regréseme rápido a la guardia, amigo. Cuando lo tengas en lo corto, no me perdones nada, hijo. Aquí, en lo cortito, las combinaciones que estuvimos practicando, hijo. Y nomás regrésame rápido a la guardia, sube las manos. O a cintura. Izquierda. Right.
Great. Yeah, he's trying to get underneath you. See that?
Former heavyweight champ Deontay Wilder was here in Las Vegas.
Something changed in that fifth round. Went from a fight, nobody scored the first four exactly. It went from a fight where basically Crawford was outboxing to Canelo to a fight in the fifth round where basically Canelo was overwhelming Crawford's defense with volume. And here Crawford seems to be trying to take the play back.
I don't think Crawford liked that last round. I thought both of these fighters punch and box up.
Left hand for Crawford. That's the kind of left hand that really hurt Errol Spence on his way in.
Crawford really doesn't want to be moving as much as he does. It's not his forte. He knows he has to do that tonight, but he's trying to take advantage of moments where he can get off and be his normal self, and we just saw that a few seconds ago.
Slick uppercut a moment ago by Crawford and some appreciable swelling around the right eye of Alvarez.
Best punch of the fight so far, I think, was the left hand from Crawford that caught Alvarez coming in and kind of doubled the impact. And you could see the redness around Canelo's right eye.
Crawford starting to showboat a little bit, cracking that wide smile.
Even that left hook that Terrence Crawford just caught a few seconds ago, that shot has a lot of power on it, and it oftentimes spooks and scares opponents for Canelo, which makes them keep their hands at home and not more punches. That's not the case with Terrence Crawford tonight.
Crawford has not really gone to the body in this fight, which shows the respect he has, I think, for Canelo's power and counterpunch.
Doesn't want to make a mistake and get caught reaching.
Right call by the referee.
Crawford looks to be a lot more comfortable matching your point in this round than he did in the fifth.
He made a statement to start this round because he knew he had to break Canelo's forward momentum.
He also knows that he's up in this round right now, so he's not taking any unnecessary risk. The burden of the onus is on Canelo to try to close this round.
Champion through for Crawford.
Crawford might want to punctuate this round with something else hard before the end to say, hey, there's distance between you and me. Like that.
That came after Alvarez had landed a pretty significant right hand. 30 seconds to go round 6.
Because we're starting to enter the area of the fight where what happens starts to shed light on what has happened to that point. And Crawford right now is highlighting that he in fact was outboxing Canelo early and it is starting to add up.
Crawford looks very comfortable right now.
Round for Crawford.
As big as the fifth was for Canelo, it was at least that big, if not more, for Crawford in the sixth.
Here I go. Venga. Hay que estar más activos, monaco. Que no te duermas su pinche llave, total, no vayas ya, métete, mueve a la colección, pero hay que conectar, porque ya te metiste, métele abajo, güey. Te golpea el cuerpo, güey. Vamos.
Canelo had a great big round, and Terrence Crawford knew he had to make a stand in this sixth round. That shot got Canelo's attention as Crawford's back was against the ropes. So good shot from Crawford, and that shot and that exchange allowed him to box the way he wanted to for the remainder of the round.
It wasn't a jab exactly, but it was a similar kind of punch that caught Errol Spence coming in and floored him. Canelo's a much bigger, stronger, and better fighter than Errol Spence.
Timing, though, was perfect on that left hand from Bud Crawford, and here we are, round 7.
Canelo's landed early in this round. That's the third shot that Canelo's landed. You see Crawford testing the waters. Trying to go a little bit deeper. Can I stand here? Can I exchange?
He's not backing up from Canelo's power.
Good uppercut by Crawford. Alvarez out of range on the return.
This is a significant statement Crawford is making if he continues this way. Not only is he not backing up from Canelo's power, but he may be doing more damage with his own in these exchanges.
And that responsible defense of Brett Crawford on display on the 2-minute 2 round 7.
It's a gamble and a negotiation that Crawford is going to have the whole night. How long do I stay in these quarters? How much can I exchange with Canelo? When do I box? And when do I fight and get my respect?
As the great James Toney used to say, you need to bring ass to get ass. And Terrence Crawford is bringing ass tonight.
Skipper Kelp, what are you seeing?
Downloaded the data he's been looking for. He looks very comfortable inside right now.
Crawford got off to a good start. Largely has some points back. Both fighters landing at a 29% clip. Just on the good goal this time. Alvarez closing the distance.
He hasn't where he wants it. Canelo's down to the corner. But in that exchange, Crawford got at least as good as he gave, at least as good as he got.
A shot to the body by Alvarez.
You know Crawford's feeling good because he's staying there longer. He's not allowing Canelo, but when Canelo punches, if he lands or if he blocks it, you see Crawford coming right back. That's a respect thing.
Neither man has really hurt the other man yet. They felt each other, but I haven't seen either guy hurt yet. The question for that half of this fight is that going to happen for either guy?
And not just that, but we have to watch the conditioning of both guys.
Well, and that can lead to sometimes those same shots hurting you
Yes.
in the back half.
Crawford working off that jab late in round 7.
Good. Hey, you don't got here to no firefight with him, okay? You just keep boxing that motherfucker. He's gonna get desperate, and you're gonna be able to run him into something, okay? Just keep boxing him. If you stop and you're looking for something, get him on the ball on that back foot so your screen can be better, so you got a little bit more snap in your punch. Good. Good. Good.
Tíramelo sin cabecea. Y aquí. Pero que sienta que te estás encima, que te trae encima, güey. Ok. Venimos a ganar, güey, Hágalo con inteligencia y con mucho pinche corazón, hijo.
Rounding have a possible 12 to decide the undisputed super-middleweight championship. Crawford and Canelo from the cup as Crawford up 6 rounds to 1.
What you see with both of these fighters is one fighter is bigger, not by much, but he's bigger. And he's stronger, but not in a way where he can do whatever he wants to do with Terrence Crawford.
And the resilience of Crawford, his punch resistance at this weight has been impressive. Because Canelo has nailed him, and Canelo is oppressive.
But when you roll yourself down, your punch resistance is effective. Thus far, Crawford is taking the big shots from Canelo, the single shots, and even the two-piece that he got hit with very, very well.
And that's the thing, at this level, everyone's going to get hit.
Yeah.
Can you hit him 2 and 3 times? And Crawford's been the one to do that so far.
And can Alvarez rally if need be? Right, got off to a big lead against Bibble before the latter rally. And shot to the bottom by Alvarez 2 minutes to go under.
Crawford acknowledged that last time.
Alvarez with effect to the bottom.
Crawford have been honest. He shook his head yes when he felt it to the body, said no when he didn't, I guess.
Alvarez trying to get something going again. Good defensive responsibility for Crawford.
Alvarez has done some good work in this round.
Alvarez just a tremendous ambassador for this sport. He has done so much for his fellow fighters, past and present. He is affable and just landed a pretty significant right hand there on a minute to go, round 8.
These are dangerous punches for Crawford because Crawford is feeling himself right now, and Alvarez is throwing knockout shots.
Crawford trying to get some respect himself. He didn't quite let Canelo up, but he got him on one leg. He wants to let Canelo know I'm doing too. But to your point, Matt, Crawford has to stay focused because no matter how easy it may feel in spots, you have to know that Canelo is still pressing forward and he will always be dangerous as long as this fight is going on.
Garcia, who's trained with Canelo, told me that Canelo throws everything hard to sell his face. Because everything's coming hard, you can't get strong, so you must respect his face.
8 rounds down.
It's interesting right there. The end of that round, Terence Crawford looked at Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez extended his glove. Terence Crawford didn't block.
You know that back toe, and you got that little rhythm. You got that upper body movement, okay? All right? Because he gonna come with the wide shit. He gonna come with the wide shit. He go wide, you go to the body like you can't go. Deep breath. Look at that. Look at what you do. You do it. You do left guard. You do left guard. Deep breath.
Buenos contragolpes, ahorita lo recibiste bien. Ciérrate nomás aquí, recíbemelo. Si ya le cortaste el ring, hay que tirar más golpes. Combinaciones de 2 golpes. 3 y la defensa. Ok. Venga, güey, otra aire. Vamos.
Yeah, that's interesting. Andre Canelo Alvarez looking for a fist bump between rounds. The no-nonsense Bud Crawford not having it. Here we go, round 9. Oh, that's a good early leg by Crawford.
I think it's more than no nonsense. As Kenny Atlas would always say, Canelo is looking to be friends, and Crawford is not looking to be friends.
Great exchange from Terence Crawford. Right there, Canelo's landing, and not like Terence Crawford in this exchange.
This is furious action.
Crawford circling back to look up for that jab, but everything out of him combination here, early round 9.
That opening cut. Well, there's a cut over Bud Crawford's right eye. It looks like a small cut. Not sure about it, because here it looks like there is.
Got a cut. Accidental headbutt. Okay, I'm going to look at it right now. All right, stay right here. Jeff, accidental headbutt. Got the cut. You good? Second, you ready? We're good.
There's always the chance of this. Southpaw orthodox, clash of heads. Although it's Canelo who's been cut 3 times in the past. But it's Crawford with the injury.
And the ever classy Alvarez comes over and immediately apologizes.
Terence Crawford is punching with bad intentions right now. So is Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah, these guys are looking for the knockout in this round. They both are.
You had to know this was going to happen at some point. You know it, right?
Going through the guard for Alvarez with the right hand. So the right hand for Alvarez is sort of clearing.
Good left hand for Alvarez. Bud Crawford is someone who took gunshots in the head and drove himself to the hospital to get stitched up. as a young professional,
Good shot.
a little buzz and goes swoop him.
Those may not be knockout shots from Terrence Crawford, but those are respect shots from Terrence Crawford.
Those are
He's demanding his respect right now.
sweat flying shots.
Neither of these men have ever officially been knocked down as pros under a minute in round 9.
With not much more than 30 seconds left to go in the 9th round. So far, Bud Crawford has done what he has done in every fight of his career, which is demonstrated. However you have the exact scoring on the cards right now, he has been the better man so far, as he's always been throughout his career. Canelo's going to have to do something.
Right hand will help the Alvarez cause. Under 20 seconds to go round 9. Crawford looking outstanding with the extra weight, competing at 68 for the first time tonight. 3 to go.
This is a moment where Terrence Crawford stood his ground and got his respect from Canelo Alvarez. That's the range that everybody said he can't fight in. Everybody said that he has to fight the perfect fight, and he can't allow Canelo Alvarez to touch his chin at all. He's been hit, he's took it well, and he's given just as much, and in many cases, more than what he's taken in certain spots.
Mueve la cintura, ya cuando no se tira y regresa rápido tu guardia, te sabes defender. ¿Por qué? Sí, no, tenemos una rampa chingado, güey. ¿Eh? Hay que dar una putiza, güey. Mueve la cintura aquí, métete la botella, no ahorita.
You ready? I don't think he up. But hey, but you gotta finish strong. You got 9 minutes.
You hear the corners, Eddie Reynoso wants something big from Canelo here. He says you have 3 rounds to do this. Crawford's corner believes he's up, but knows he needs to finish strong.
Alvarez corner looking for that power. Also some movement defensively as well. Round 10.
One of the questions I have is how is Terrence Crawford going to move and carry and fight with this extra weight? And thus far, he looks phenomenal. The shape that he's in and his ability to carry that weight. Good right hand from Canelo Alvarez.
Canelo, you had a couple shots like that, this whole thing can change quickly. Canelo remains dangerous. Is being implored by his corner to forward on.
Good sequence there by Crawford. Nice left hand by Alvarez, immediately answered by Buck.
Good right hand from Canelo.
Crawford said that's all you got.
Block that right hand.
If I'm Canelo's corner, I really don't like what I just saw from Crawford, a little dig pad, because it means he's feeling very comfortable.
The right hand is a shot that Crawford gets hit with a lot along the ropes and moving backwards. Then the money shot from Canelo is the best far in this fight.
Again, just landed again as you said that.
And that looked like he threw that right hand where he thought Bud was going to be, and he landed flush.
I'm sure why he's not making that adjustment.
Canelo, he served well to punch with Crawford, but Crawford goes into those punch combinations.
Good body shot. Single shot. I'd like to see Canelo throw multiple body shots. Single shot from Crawford. I don't know if Canelo just doesn't want to open up that much, or if he doesn't feel comfortable in that space throwing both hands, because he'll have Crawford trapped and he'll just throw one body shot.
A round like this is where Crawford can make a statement. Last 35 seconds or so, Canelo's done some good work. Can Crawford take the play away from him? I think Canelo emphasized an effective round so far, and there's Crawford taking that play away.
So Crawford holding really well physically in these tense situations. Alvarez presses forward, Crawford not there to be hit.
Is that exchange when Crawford the round? That's a great question. This is the punch that Crawford has been getting hit with all night. He's taking it well, but that's not a punch you want to really give any fighter, especially Canelo Alvarez. And Canelo's also extended the straight right hand. That has landed flush, very clean. And we've seen Crawford start to do the flurries where he's throwing punches at half speed and half strength in order to get a big shot at the end of the combination. And that's the sequence that you don't like, guys.
Suerte, Seco. No dejes que esté bailando el cabrón.
As we begin all the rounds round, we're happy to announce a new attendance record for Allegiant Stadium, 7,482 fans in the building. This venue proving great for boxing. Beautiful body shot by Alvarez to begin round 11.
Oh, good uppercut on the inside from Crawford. Both of these guys have that thing that great champions have, where when one tries to take the flame away from the other, there's an immediate response.
You can't teach it, you can't coach it, you can't train it. You either have it or you don't.
So far throughout the fight, Skipper Bell's part reflects what we've been seeing. It's not that Canelo hasn't responded, it's that Crawford's responses have been a little better.
Skipper Cup, go ahead.
I just think that Crawford is answering the bell. Whenever Canelo does something, Crawford one-ups him.
And again, a nice short left hand by Crawford after he landed an uppercut prior.
I thought I saw Canelo wobble a little bit from one of those uppercuts on the inside.
Ooh. That's the negotiation that I talked about earlier that Crawford has to continue to make with himself. He won that negotiation right there.
Can't get too comfortable though. You can see he's feeling very comfortable on offense, and Canelo is still throwing bombs. Crawford, I don't think at this point believes Canelo can hurt him.
I believe that to be true.
Time will tell. Those two look like it hurt. Look, this is Canelo's best moment of the fight. Can he follow up?
A lot of round left. Minute 30 seconds in this 11th round.
Pinpoint jab from Crawford a moment ago. Right hand for Alvarez gets through.
Yeah.
That's what Crawford gets through as well.
It's true, but Crawford may be getting a little too comfortable getting hit with some big clean shots. But he's done most of the hitting this round.
Nice combination by Crawford. The body work got through. I don't know.
I know Crawford's the smaller guy moving up, so like let's look at his punch resistance. Canelo Alvarez is in conversation for the greatest chin in the history of boxing. He's taken big shots tonight. But that's the best moment of the fight. Can he follow up?
Got a lot of round left. Minute 30 seconds in.
Well, this is Canelo's best moment of the fight.
Kaya ano, hindi ka putang na mo. Ini-stop ko po tayo, ayaw stop. Sabi mo ito gagawa tayo.
From one of those uppercuts on the inside.
That's the negotiation that I talked about earlier that Crawford has to continue to make with himself. He won that negotiation right there.
Can't get too comfortable though. You can see he's feeling very comfortable on offense, and Canelo is still throwing bombs. Crawford, I don't think at this point believes Canelo can hurt him.
I believe that to be true.
Time will tell. That doesn't look like it hurt. But this is Canelo's best moment of the fight. Can he follow up?
Put a lot of round left. Minute 30 seconds in this 11th round.
Pinpoint jab from Crawford a moment ago. Right hand for Alvarez gets through.
Yeah.
That Crawford gets through as well.
It's true, but Crawford may be getting a little too comfortable getting hit with big, clean shots. But he's done most of the hitting this round.
Nice combination by Crawford. The guy work out through.
By the way, I know Crawford's the smaller guy moving up, sort of like, let's look at his punch resistance. Canelo Alvarez is in the conversation for the greatest chin in the history of boxing. He's taking some big shots tonight.
Alvarez with a late left hand in round 11. 3 minutes to go.
Galing yung game plan ni Crawford.
Hey, I got it. Good for it. Hey, we're going to get this with this last round.
Shout out sa
We're
iyo.
gonna try to come on two. Last round, we're getting tough gloves at the bell. At the bell. But you box smart, okay? You got great foot movement. Sometimes hit the feint with a 2-1 or a 1-2. You boxing great. Keep touching him off the double, okay? You can't do single off that double.
Este plantón, nomás ciérrate, güey. Ciérrate y recibe, lo agarra de abajo. Agarra aire. Agarra aire. Agarra aire. Con todas tus fuerzas tira, mueve la cintura. Cerradito. Y tira de pum, abajo, arriba. Cerrado.
So we do have the same set of judges that did judge that Mario Barrios Manny Pacquiao fight that ended in a 12-round majority draw back in July. Tim Shooting and Steve Weisfield had 114, 114. Max Cadena 115, 113 for Barrios. We'll see if we get to the final stand.
Steve Weisfield is as good a judge as I've ever observed throughout my years in boxing. I believe, guys, either Canelo Alvarez does something dramatic here, or Bud Crawford becomes the first ever lightweight champion. Real champion, Ring Magazine, radio, whatever you want to call it. To become super middleweight champion. And also conquer other divisions along the way.
I agree with that. You have to feel that it's discouraging for Canelo to land those kind of shots throughout the course of this fight and not get the reaction that most thought he was going to get. Probably he thought he was going to get.
It's been a masterful performance from Terence Crawford.
And Shooting with that left hand.
Do you think Crawford gets greedy here, Greg? And would that be a mistake?
I don't know if it's greedy. I think he's earned the right based on setting the table the way that he has to eat right now. It's the 12th round.
Yeah.
You got to know how this fight is being scored. He's not a civilian. He's a prize fighter, and this is what prize fighters do.
Billy Conn, in 1941, had Joe Louis beat for the heavyweight title, went for a knockout in the 13th round and was counted out himself with 1 second to go.
Right hand gets through for Alvarez. Crawford seemingly had a hard time. Look back to smile. 1 minute to go.
Still trying to do something big before it's over. The Crawford all out.
He's knocking Canelo off balance with those upper shots, the uppercuts. But is he hurting him with them, do you think, Conrad?
Well, I think he's getting his respect. That's what I think. Got to do what he's doing right now.
Right, Canelo's walking away.
That's all you need to see right there. He's getting the respect that he wants. Canelo's going to fight. He's a warrior. He's a champion, a great, proud champion. But Crawford got what he wanted, which was his respect.
Well, he felt like if he could get this fight, he could produce a performance that would earn the respect. Down the stretch we come. And they're moving the board. Terence Bud Crawford and Canelo Alvarez go the distance.
Guys, we know what we just saw. Bud Crawford just beat Canelo Alvarez. Let's see if the judges agree.
And when Bud Crawford heard the superlatives all week about how powerful the big Canelo Alvarez was, he and Brian McIntyre responded in kind every time. He ain't fought us yet, and indeed he had not. And Bud Crawford, who turns 38 later this month, looked in prime form tonight against Canelo Alvarez. Official decision on the other side as we go onward from Vegas. Right back inside Allegiant Stadium, Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez go the distance. Most of Bud Crawford's boxing contemporaries picked him to win this fight. They felt as though he had more ways to win. Certainly from our vantage point, he did enough to move to 42-0 and assert himself undeniably as one of the greatest of all time. And now we await the official scorecards. right, now for the official decision. One final time tonight. Here's Michael Walker.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of boxing, we go to the scorecards. Steve Weisfeld scores at 116 to 112. Max DeLuca and Jim Cheatham both have it 115 to 113. For the winner by unanimous decision, the Fighting Brother of Omaha, Nebraska, USA, and no, the magazine, the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Terrence
Congratulations on a truly historical win. What are you feeling right now?
Praise to the Lord above me. I gotta give him all the praise. Because without him, I wouldn't be here. And I told y'all, I'm not here just by a coincidence. God bless me, and he made this event. He made this night just for me. And I've been telling y'all that. It's not my fault. It's God.
You seem to be outboxing him early, but the rounds were competitive through 4. Then in the 5th, he started picking up momentum and he started to hit you cleanly. It seems like you came out in the 6th intentionally to reassert yourself and stop his momentum. Is that accurate?
Yeah, of course, man. Canelo's a great champion. You know, I gotta take my hat off to him. He's a strong competitor. You know, like I said before, I got nothing but respect for Canelo. I'm a big fan of Canelo, and he fought like a champion today.
I can't remember another fighter whose legacy hinged so much this deep into their career on one night. Had you lost, people would have said, well, first time he fought, a great fighter, he couldn't do it. But you won. And now, at this moment, if you never fight again, this generation will say about you what the last one said about Floyd and what generations ago they said about Sugar Ray Robinson. They'll say, no one could have beaten our guy. Is this the last fight of your career?
Like I said before, I don't know. I gotta sit down with my team, and we're gonna talk about it.
But do you have anything else you'd like to say to boxing fans around the world?
I just like to say thank you. Thank you to all the supporters. Thank you to all the haters. I appreciate every one of y'all. We made this a great event. Shout out to everybody that came to support Canelo. I appreciate all y'all coming to support me and this fella. I'm happy that he get to make it home to his children. I get to make it home to my children. And, you know, and hopefully everybody be safe tonight.
Thank you, GOAT, because you are the GOAT of this era. Terrence Bud Crawford. Canelo, as you have done your entire career, you took a huge risk tonight and then fought your heart out. What are you feeling right now?
I feel great. You know, Primero que nada, quiero dar las gracias a toda la gente que vino aquí a apoyarme, como siempre. Muchísimas gracias. Y decirles que una derrota no me define. No me define. Al estar aquí yo ya gané. Y solamente quiero decir que ya gané porque tengo mi familia. En lo profesional he hecho muchísimas cosas. Entrené muy bien. Todo mi respeto para Crawford. Hice lo que tenía que hacer. Y al final de cuentas, a responder tu pregunta, aquí estoy para tomar riesgos. Vine a la vida a tomar riesgos, a ponerme a prueba y aquí seguiré.
First and foremost, I want to thank everyone that came to support me. Has always been behind me. I'm a winner for being here. I'm a winner for being here. There's no defeat here. The fact that I'm here makes me already a winner. I've done everything in my career. I've come to life to actually take risks. And that's what I did. I take risks. And when the money fighter of an era is willing to fight everyone, you get a great era in boxing. Is Bud Crawford someone that you want to fight again? Do you feel like you can do better in a rematch than you did tonight?
Like I said to him, I feel great to share the ring with great fighters like him. And if we do it again, it's going to be great. But you know what? I'm glad to share the ring with great fighters. And I'm glad to be here. I already did a lot in boxing. I already accomplished a lot in boxing. My legacy is already there. And I am still taking risks because I love boxing.
If you continue, do you feel like this is still the Canelo Alvarez that we've all known and loved for all these years? Or do you feel like something's changed? Are you still the fighter that you were?
No, I feel great. I feel great. I feel strong. You know, Crawford is a great fighter, skilled fighter. And I get the credit to Crawford, obviously. And I feel great. I still feel the same.
Canelo Alvarez, the reason it's been such a pleasure to have you as the face of boxing is because of that. In victory and defeat, Canelo Alvarez is everything that's good about boxing. Thank you, Canelo.
Pleasure. Thank you. ¡Que viva México, cabrones! ¡Ánimo!
The living legend Canelo Alvarez, for whom, as Andre Ward says, boxing is life, and it seems as though boxing is still life for him. He does say he wants to retire at 37 to play golf because he is very good on a golf track. But tonight belongs to Terrence Bud Crawford. Andre, you had a front row seat to one of the biggest singular wins in the illustrious history of the sport of boxing.
Before I get to Terrence Crawford, I first want to take my hat off to Canelo Alvarez to Max's point in the post-fight interview. He didn't have to take this fight. This is the fight that Terrence Crawford called for. So hats off to him for that. As it pertains to this man right here, it's well publicized that he's a friend of mine, and I've seen his journey throughout his career. And I've seen one accomplishment after the next. I've seen more questions be asked of him. Is he a draw? Does he have a personality? He's only fighting these types of fighters. He doesn't have a signature win. And all he's done is just answer the doubt with more victories, more professionalism. And I think we can learn something from Crawford, not just the X's and O's. We have to stop putting fighters in a box thinking you're only entertaining if you do this. You can only excite me if you fight this type of way. Terrence Crawford truly did it his way. And a lot of people were wrong. And if this is his last fight, he's done everything that he wanted to do. He's a three-time undisputed champion who jumped 2, maybe 3 weight classes, depending on how you look at it, against a great fighter like Canelo Alvarez. At this point in his life and career, the debate is over.
Every era has their guy that you can't tell anyone from that era anything about. We lived through Michael Jordan, trying to tell anyone who did that LeBron James is better.
Right.
And those who live through LeBron James, there'll be another guy come around in 20 years and try to tell them that. Bud Crawford is that to this era of boxing. And I want to go back and reevaluate the last 10, 12 years of boxing. Because I think of Bernard Hopkins in middleweight, who made all those title defenses but was locked out of the big fights. Couldn't unify the titles. As soon as he was given the chance, and by the way, became Ring Magazine champion. What that really showed is retroactively, he was always the best. He just didn't have the opportunity to prove it. Looking back at Bud Crawford's career, it is reasonable to say, and I believe it, he has been the best pound-for-pound fighter in boxing now for a dozen years. Almost no one who has ever lived has ever done that. It puts him in rarefied air.
The only man in the world who I won't argue about Michael Jordan and LeBron James with is Terrence Crawford. We actually got into it in the fighter meeting, but this was a celebration of boxing tonight, gentlemen, in more ways than one. You guys have devoted so much of your professional lives to this sport. You can look at me if you want to, it's okay. Trey, final thoughts on everything that transpired, not just tonight, but this entire fight week that really put boxing back where it belongs.
Great fight week, great build-up over the last 2-3 months. Everything was done at a high level. When you have two great fighters like we had in our main event, you don't have to oversell anything. This event didn't feel oversold. In fact, some people said, man, shouldn't they be doing more with a fight of this caliber? And I think when you have the goods in the main event, we also saw on the undercard, a lot of great fights, young fighters, established fighters. This is what the future holds for boxing with Turkey Al-Sheikh, and I believe Dana White and others who are throwing their hat into the boxing ring. I hope the fans enjoyed it. And I think that we can take a page from the UFC book. In boxing, wins mean a lot, but losses probably mean more than they should. And I love that about the Mexican fans because they're still supporting their guy. I've seen so many times guys get on the front end, they get the support, but then they lose and all of a sudden people start acting different or they're not cheering the same. It's not the case with these fans, and I think we can take that with us from this night, give both guys their respect, they took the risk, and just a loss doesn't mean the end, and a loss doesn't mean that your legacy is tainted forever.
We pitched a big tent here. This is going to be the most watched boxing match, championship boxing match in 47 years because the platform is on. And what Andre spoke about earlier, for the casuals, as they say, we welcome you, where we want this sport to grow, everybody involved in this. And what Andre was referring to is what I've been talking about all week, including on this broadcast. The hope is that this event would be historic. It turned out to be one of the best versions of what it could be, a truly historic night. And the hope was that this could kick off a golden era of boxing. Andre referred to Turkey Al-Sheikh, who has the resources to make these kind of events happen, and the imagination. It was he who imagined that this fight could happen.
Yeah.
Dana White is an institution builder. He built the UFC as an institution. When he's gone, you can get a very competent executive to run it, and it's still there. That's not the case. Hasn't been the case so far in the history of boxing. And Nick Khan, who runs the WWE, is the most effective executive I've ever come across. And this platform of Netflix can pitch the biggest tent possible. So to take you inside baseball, or in this case, inside boxing, that's what Andre was talking about. This is the way to start a new era of boxing, a truly historical night.
Gentlemen, great job. There's no greatness, of course, without risk. We have two legendary athletes who didn't need to take this risk tonight, put legacies on the line for our benefit. All right, that's it from the booth for Andre and Max. John Anik signing off. We now send it over across Allegiant Stadium. Mario Lopez for the first section. Thank you very much, John. You know,
Bembang sa una ka malalaman ko. O Bembang.
Podcast between Canelo with Steve Ken. What are the signs there in May?
Shoutout sa nanonood sa akin. Angelos.
June 11th, 1997, Delta Center, Salt Lake City. He shouldn't have been out there. He couldn't eat, could barely walk. Trainers told him to stay in bed. His teammates were getting dressed for Game 5. Michael Jordan, he was curled up on the hotel floor, shaking. The Bulls were slipping. They dropped 2 straight games in Utah, and the series was tied 2-2. The Jazz were undefeated at home all playoffs, and the greatest player in the world was at his weakest. But somehow, he showed up, and what followed became legend.
Jordan on the move, baseline left.
This wasn't just a game, it was a war of willpower. And if you've never seen a man drag his soul across the finish line, strap in. Because tonight, the flu wasn't the only thing that didn't stand a chance. So let's rewind and watch a man hunt down respect like it owed him money. Coming off one of the greatest seasons in NBA history, the Chicago Bulls wasted no time proving they were still on top. They opened the year with 12 straight wins and cruised into the All-Star break 42-6. They weren't just good, they were chasing history again. In their final regular season game, they had a chance to become the only back-to-back 70-win team in NBA history. But when Scottie Pippen's game-winning 3 rimmed out against the Knicks in their last regular season game, Chicago settled for a 69-13 record. Still first in the league, but just shy of the historic mark. But Michael Jordan wasn't coasting. He wasn't satisfied. He was still coming for everything. But then something strange happened. After a season like that, Jordan had a strong case to win MVP in 1997. The year before, he had averaged 30.4 points, 6.6 rebounds, and 4.3 assists, while leading the Bulls to an NBA record 72 wins and their 4th championship. He won the MVP nearly unanimously, finishing with 109 votes. The only thing keeping him from a clean sweep were 4 straight votes for Penny Hardaway, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Karl Malone. In '97, the Bulls didn't quite match their record-shattering pace, but 69 wins was still an incredible follow-up. Jordan's numbers dipped only slightly to 29.6 points, 5.9 rebounds, and 4.3 assists. Considering the target on their backs and the championship hangover felt throughout the organization, it was still an unbelievable season for Mike. Meanwhile, out west, Karl Malone was having the year of his life. After years of falling short, he finally pushed the Jazz to the top of the conference standings with a 64-18 record. And when the MVP votes came in, Malone edged Jordan by just 29 votes, the second closest margin in league history. Jordan had the scoring title, he had the wins, he had the case, but for some people, it wasn't enough. And in Chicago, some people felt like it had less to do with Malone's brilliance and more to do with voters simply being tired of giving the award to Jordan. The Bulls head coach, Phil Jackson, wasn't afraid to say it out loud. We won 69 games this year, mostly on the energy of Michael and Scottie Pippen, Jackson told the Chicago Tribune. We had mishaps with Dennis Rodman and Luke Longley, so we were not together as a unit the whole year. Karl played with that unit the whole season, and they had no injuries. He did his job, there's no doubt about it. But for the excess weight that was put on our team and still to win 69 games, there's no earthly explanation, except that Michael won it so many times, and this year may be Malone's opportunity. Malone himself even seemed to sense the whispers around his MVP. After receiving the award, he couldn't resist poking the bear. I thank Michael for letting me borrow it for 1 year. Oh, he probably shouldn't have said that. Publicly, Jordan played it cool. He congratulated Malone, downplayed the snub, and reminded people that being in the conversation year after year was already an honor. Because of the opinion of others, they choose to give it to a guy that's been in the league as long and consistent as I was, Jordan said at the time.
But decades later, Jordan's The Last Dance documentary revealed the truth. That MVP race lit the fire. Malone's trophy became one of MJ's signature, and I took that personally moments.
I'm not saying he wasn't deserving of it. All I'm saying is that fueled the fire and they said, okay, you think he's everything? Confront him, bro.
Even this late in his career, even with 4 championships already, Jordan was still hunting for any excuse to sharpen his edge. And when the playoffs tipped off, the Bulls came out blazing. They entered as the heavy favourites to repeat, with Jordan and Pippen at the height of their powers. After sweeping Washington in the first round, they drew the 4-seeded Atlanta Hawks, a team led by Steve Smith, Christian Laettner, Mookie Blaylock, and Dikembe Mutombo. On paper, this was supposed to be a quick series, but Atlanta stole Game 2 at the United Center, 103-95, after a brutal third quarter from Chicago and a 13-point explosion from Steve Smith in the fourth. Jordan was furious. Mike walked into the locker room and he killed every one of those guys, one Bulls player told the Los Angeles Times. Phil and his assistants just leaned up against the wall. He was going up and down the lockers. You guys don't know what it takes to win, and just kill them all. It was the greatest speech you've ever heard. And when it was done, Phil just said, that's it. Whatever Jordan said, it worked. In Game 3, Chicago came out with vengeance, holding Atlanta to just 36% shooting in a 100-80 blowout. From there, the Bulls took control and finished the series in 5 games.
Here in the fourth quarter.
Next up, a red-hot Miami Heat team, fresh of a 7-game war against the Knicks. That 1997 playoff run was the deepest the Heat had gone since joining the league in 1988. It felt like a major breakthrough for Miami, especially with the legendary Pat Riley calling the shots. On paper, the Eastern Conference Finals looked like it could be explosive, but that was only possible if the stars from both sides showed up every single night. For Miami, that didn't happen. Alonzo Mourning and Tim Hardaway were supposed to lead the charge, but the Bulls figured them out almost immediately. Chicago's defense locked in, and before the Heat knew it, they were staring at a 3-0 deficit. Mourning, in particular, looked shaken. In Game 3, he finished with just 12 points and 9 rebounds. And even worse, he turned the ball over 9 times. That opened the door for Hardaway to step up, but instead, he got swallowed up by Chicago's defense. The 6-foot guard ended up with only 6 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 turnovers of his own. Michael Jordan summed it up best. We've made a concentrated effort not to let him get in rhythm like he did against New York. Ron Harper's doing a great job, physically just banging him. We've closed the lanes and made sure he didn't have any outlets to throw to. There was never any doubt about Mourning's physical gifts, but against Chicago, the real issue wasn't his body, it was his mind. Without mental toughness, pure strength and athleticism only carried him so far. And that's where Dennis Rodman came in. Rodman was shorter than Mourning by 2 or 3 inches, but the Worm was a master at psychological warfare. He loved nothing more than crawling into an opponent's head and breaking them down from the inside. Even Jordan called Mourning out for losing his composure, pointing to how Rodman's relentless antics threw Zoe completely off his game. The Heat managed to salvage 1 win in Game 4. Mourning posted 18 points and 14 rebounds, while Hardaway led the way with 25. But asking Miami to win 4 straight games against a locked-in Bulls team was impossible. Sure enough, Chicago closed it out in Game 5 and punched their ticket to a 2nd straight NBA Finals. That wasn't a playoff run, it was a slow execution. Jordan carved through the East with surgical precision, but the real war was waiting in the West. The Utah Jazz, the mailman, Karl Malone was the single biggest source of Jordan's motivation for the postseason. Malone wasn't some pushover. He finished 2nd in scoring behind MJ at 27.4 points per game, ranked 10th in rebounds with 9.9 a night, and shot an incredible 55% from the field. And with John Stockton running the point, Utah was dangerous. They had split the regular season series with the Bulls, tied them for the league's best offense at 103.1 points per game, and even edged Chicago in field goal percentage. But the finals didn't start in Utah, they started in Chicago, and the Bulls immediately set the tone. Game 1 was a classic nail-biter. With 35.8 seconds left, Jordan tied the game at 82 by hitting one of two free throws. Then came the famous moment. With 9.2 seconds left, Rodman fouled Malone and sent him to the line.
9 seconds to go. Overtime. 9 seconds left.
That's when Scottie Pippen walked over and delivered one of the coldest lines in finals history. Remember, Carl, the mailman don't deliver on Sundays. Malone bricked both shots. Jordan snagged the rebound, called a timeout, and then, because of course, hit a 20-footer at the buzzer.
The fadeaway jumper, don't foul. As over the foul limit. We're down to 5. Jordan promotes on Russell. We're down to 2. Here's Jordan.
Bulls up 1-0. Or as Mark Heisler of the LA Times put it, MVP voters propose it, but Michael Jordan dispose it. Chicago kept rolling in Game 2 with a 97-85 win. Stockton struggled under Ron Harper's defense, and Malone followed up his rough opener by going just 6 for 20 from the field. To make matters worse, he re-aggravated a hand injury he had picked up during the Western Conference Finals. When the series shifted to Salt Lake City though, the Jazz finally punched back. Malone dropped 37 points in Game 3, with Stockton adding 17 points and 12 assists. Game 4 belonged to Stockton. Clutch buckets, huge defensive plays, and a brilliant pass late to tie the series at 2 apiece. The Bulls, surprisingly, melted down in crunch time. But maybe it wasn't just Utah's execution. Maybe it was Chicago's own trainer. After the fact, it came out that an assistant accidentally swapped out the team's Gatorade for Gatorade, a carb-loading drink meant for endurance athletes, not for an in-game refreshment during a taxing basketball match. Trainer Chip Schaefer later explained, it was like eating baked potatoes. The result? Several Bulls, including Jordan, suffered stomach cramps. MJ even asked to sit out briefly, something he almost never did in a big moment. Another reason the Bulls slowed down might have been a noted defensive adjustment Jazz coach Jerry Sloan made after the finals move to Salt Lake City. He assigned a relatively unknown specialist, Brian Russell, to guard Jordan. Jordan's efficiency dropped in Utah, shooting just 41% from the field, and with fewer trips to the free throw line, he scored 31 and 38 points in Game 1 and 2. He managed only 26 and 22 in Games 3 and 4. But if Russell thought he'd found the formula to stop MJ, he should have kept it quiet. Instead, Jordan mocked the idea that Russell had the answer. His defense is active, but I don't see how it's stopping me from doing what I want. Is it Brian or Byron? Russell fired back. I can get him back. Is it Michael or Michelle? Ouch. Talk about poking the bull. And if there's one thing everyone knew, it was that Jordan could take even the smallest slight and turn it into a bonfire. Good thing too, because the finals tied, the Jazz surging, and Jordan running out of help, the Bulls needed every ounce of fuel he could find. And then came the night MJ should never have played. There are countless theories about what really happened the night before Game 5. Some say it was altitude sickness. That's the version Steve Kerr has mentioned. Jalen Rose has claimed Jordan may have had a little too much to drink. But the most popular story? Food poisoning. The Bulls were staying in Park City, Utah, and the resort had no room service. Late at night, Jordan asked his trainer, Tim Grover, to grab him something to eat. The only option? A local pizza place.
No room service, Michael gets hungry. So, all right, so we're calling all these different places. George and I look around. We find one pizza place over. One. So he ordered pizza. And when the pizza came, there was 4 or 5 guys outside the door. 5 guys delivering 1 pizza.
Grover has always said he thought the delivery guys knew exactly who the pizza was for.
They're all trying to look in and, you know, everybody knew it was mine. So I take the pizza, I pay them, and I put this pizza down. I said, I got a bad feeling about this.
Around 3 a.m., Grover got a call back to Jordan's room. Mike was doubled over sick.
I wake up about 2:30, throwing up left and right.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning, get a call. My room, and then come to the room right now. Get into him. He's literally curled up in a ball, shaking. This man, find the team doc, now.
Grover and the team doctor went into treatment mode, and for a while, there was real doubt he'd even suit up. But Jordan was clear. Just get me standing, I'll do the rest. With Jordan far from 100%, the Bulls leaned more on Scottie Pippen. The idea was simple. Run the triangle through Pippen in the post, force Utah to send help, and then swing it back to Jordan, or kick it to cutters and shooters. Problem was, the Jazz were ready. They contested every post entry, smothering Pippen, and forced Jordan to create more than he wanted. By the end of the first quarter, Chicago trailed 29-16. Jordan had just 4 points and looked absolutely drained. His teammates weren't helping. They botched easy passes, gave Stockton free lanes to the rim, and even surrendered offensive rebounds off missed free throws. The Bulls finally woke up in the second. Jordan clawed his way back into the fight, dropping 17 points and drawing 5 shooting fouls. Suddenly, Utah was reminded who they were up against. Harper, Kukoc, Pippen, and Longley chipped in with big plays, while Dennis Rodman forced Malone to pick up his 3rd foul, forcing the mailman to sit for the last 5 minutes of the half. Chicago cut the deficit to just 4 at the break. The third quarter was rough for Jordan again, but this time his teammates carried the load. The Bulls' defense slowed Utah's high-power offense, controlling the pace and buying Jordan the energy he needed for the final frame. Utah led 72-67 heading into the fourth quarter. But if you knew anything about Jordan, you knew what was coming. Right on cue, he opened the fourth with 7 points in 2 minutes and assisted Kukoc on a transition 3. But every burst of brilliance seemed to drain him completely. At one point, cameras caught him slumped on the bench with an ice pack on his neck, too exhausted to even high-five or stand up. Then, seconds later, he was sprinting back onto the court, pulling up over Russell for another jumper. The game slowed into a grind. Chicago's defense squeezed Utah, while Malone unraveled, missing free throws, settling for jumpers, and picking up fouls. Stockton nailed a deep 3 to break even at 82 apiece with 3 minutes left, but Jordan immediately answered. This wasn't basketball anymore, it was survival. Even when his body failed, Jordan still found ways to win. With under a minute left, he missed a free throw, but scrambled for the rebound himself, keeping Chicago alive in a tie game. Then came the moment. Jordan dumped the ball into Pippen, guarded by the smaller Jeff Hornacek. Russell came off MJ to double, leaving Jordan alone. Pippen kicked it back out, and Jordan drilled the 3 over Stockton's late contest. Malone could only stand under the rim and watch as the ball went through the net. The mailman was rattled. On the Jazz's next defensive stand, with Utah down 1 and just 14 seconds left, he either forgot to foul or froze, and the Jazz lost their chance to stay in the game. Even Bill Walton, calling the game, couldn't believe it. Jordan could barely stand, but he stood taller than anyone else. The reigning MVP watching, the world stunned. Jordan had just given them another reason to never doubt him again. He finished with 38 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, and a block. One of the most legendary finals performances ever. People compare it to Magic's rookie masterpiece in 1980, or LeBron's Game 6 in 2016. The difference? Jordan did it in 44 minutes of grueling game action while barely able to walk. Scottie Pippen summed it up best after the game. The effort that he gave us today was unbelievable. We really appreciate the way he stepped up and showed his leadership for our ball club. The Bulls had just one day off before Game 6, but by then, Jordan had somewhat shaken off the food poisoning. He scored big again, but this time, someone else stole the spotlight late. With the game tied at 86 and 28 seconds left, Phil Jackson drew up a play for Mike. In the huddle, he addressed Steve Kerr and told him to be ready. Sure enough, Stockton doubled off Kerr, Jordan dished, and Kerr buried the jumper with 5 seconds left. On the final play, Pippen stole the inbound pass from Russell and found Kukoc for a dunk at the buzzer. The Bulls clinched their 5th title, and Jordan walked away with his 5th Finals MVP, averaging 32.3 points, 7 boards, 6 assists, and a couple of stocks a night over the series. Utah's Stockton-Malone era produced 18 straight playoff runs, 12 50-win seasons, and even 3 years with 60-plus wins. But against Jordan, they met the same fate as Patrick Ewing, Clyde Drexler, Charles Barkley, and so many others. That guy was just better. And when Jordan had something extra driving him, game over. The regular season MVP, Malone could get it. Jordan was after the only trophy that mattered. In the end, Karl Malone's MVP trophy became nothing more than a footnote in Jordan's story. The mailman had the hardware, but Jordan had something more dangerous, a grudge. That 1997 finals wasn't just about winning another championship. It was Jordan reminding everyone who really ran this league. The flu game became instant mythology, but the real story was simpler. You could beat Jordan in a vote, but you couldn't beat him when it mattered. Malone would get one more shot at Jordan in '98, one more chance to prove those MVP voters right. Spoiler alert, it wouldn't go any better, because Michael Jordan didn't just collect championships, he collected souls. And in 1997, poison pizza and all, he showed the world that even at his weakest, he was stronger than everyone else at their best. The throne wasn't up for debate. It never was. If you thought the flu game was just about 38 points while sick, you missed the point. This was Jordan in revenge mode, and revenge, in his hands, was unstoppable. Comment below your favorite Jordan moment from 1997. If you enjoyed this video, hit the hype button. And remember to like and subscribe, because there's plenty more videos on the way.
Anong nangyayari kapag hindi ka umalis?
Maaari tayong isa na walang hanggan. Hindi kita susukulan.
When's the last time we've seen a season like Michael Jordan's in 1996? I'll answer that for you. Never. Not before, not since. Jordan didn't just come back from retirement, he came back with a vengeance that shook the entire basketball world. He led the Bulls to a 72-10 record, the best in NBA history at the time. He won his 4th MVP, 4th Finals MVP, and 4th championship. But more than that, he proved that greatness isn't just about talent, it's about turning pain into purpose, doubt into domination. In 1996, Michael Jordan wasn't just a basketball player, he was the perfect weapon, forged in tragedy and unleashed on a league that had no idea what was coming. This wasn't just a comeback story, this was revenge served at 30.4 points per game. It all started with 2 words that changed everything. I'm back. But to understand why those words meant so much, we need to go back where it all fell apart. July 23rd, 1993. Michael Jordan's father, James, was found dead in a South Carolina swamp, murdered during a random robbery. The man who taught Michael everything, who was his best friend, his anchor, gone. Just 3 months later, A broken Jordan shocked the world. I'm retiring. The greatest basketball player in history. At the peak of his powers. Walking away at 30 years old. He'd won 3 straight championships, but without his father watching, what was the point? So Jordan did what his father always dreamed of. He played baseball. For 17 months, the greatest basketball player on earth was hitting .202 for the Birmingham Barons, riding bus trips through small towns, trying to find meaning in a game that wasn't his. The NBA moved on without him. Hakeem won 2 titles. The Magic emerged with Shaq and Penny. People started asking the question nobody thought they'd ask. Did we already see the best of Michael Jordan? Then came March 18th, 1995. No press conference, no ESPN special, just a 2-word fax sent to media outlets. I'm back. That's it. 2 words that sent shockwaves through the sports world. In an era before Twitter, before Instagram, a simple fax became the most famous message in sports history. Jordan's agent wanted to write a proper press release. Michael said no. He grabbed a pen, wrote 2 words, and changed everything. But here's the thing. That 1995 return, it wasn't perfect. Rusty from baseball, wearing number 45 instead of 23, Jordan looked human. The Magic bounced him in the playoffs. Nick Anderson stripped him at a crucial moment. Horace Grant, his former teammate, dominated the Bulls' front court. People whispered, maybe Jordan isn't the same. Maybe baseball took something from him. Maybe Father Time finally caught up. Oh, how wrong they were, because what happened next wasn't just a comeback, it was basketball perfection. Randy Brown remembers it clearly. Michael said every game was going to be like a playoff game to him. Every single game. This wasn't the Jordan who left in '93. This was something else. Something scarier. The baseball humility was gone. The rust was gone. What remained was a basketball terminator, programmed for one thing. Complete and utter domination.
I think these were bye.